you had to speed faster than I was speeding to catch up to me. Do you see the hypocrisy in that?
You'd never catch a speeder if you didn't.
So then you get to break the law to enforce the law?
God damn.
Don't you love it when fed up Americans refuse to go with the flow and take time out of their busy day to tell cops in their own way that they're pathetic, cowardly, tyrant brown shirt thugs who harm their fellow Americans every day by being disgusting order followers?
What's your stance on tyranny?
I have a job to do, and you have to have insurance to operate on the vehicle.
Nazi said something similar. You took my time for granted. You've wasted my time. Everything that you stopped me for today, did I harm anyone? Did I cause harm to anybody?
It's Missouri law.
Did I cause harm to anybody?
Before we get into this video, where Matt here perfectly articulates to an Oklahoma State trooper just how evil law enforcement and law enforcers are, I felt like I had to remind us that tyrants will always use public safety as an excuse to expand their operations, increase their control, and fleece the public. And let's just be honest, most, if not all, trooper-initiated stops are mere excuses to generate revenue and exert control over the public under the guise of public safety, as the troopers themselves break their own laws. Well, Matt here is going to reclaim a little bit of his time during this traffic stop in Oklahoma to set the record straight for Officer Hypocrite.
Okay, here's the law. Here's your license.
Okay.
And there's a phone number on this ticket if you want to call, like the prosecutor or something. You could always let them know. But I have chosen to write you a ticket just because you have no insurance today. It's not due until March 21st. Down here at the bottom you have, this is my name and this is my badge number down at the bottom for you. And then again, it just shows for the no insurance.
Okay. I do have a question for you though.
Sure.
What's your stance on tyranny?
I have a job to do, and you have to have insurance to operate on the vehicle, motor vehicle.
Nazi said something similar, so I have to just let you know that what you have given me a ticket for today, first of all, you took my time for granted. You've wasted my time. Okay. I've also worn a uniform just like you, so...
I see that on your license.
Yeah,
I appreciate your service, so.
Hold on. Okay, so that's the first part of this, right?
So the first part is, well, I'm just following orders. I'm just doing my job. I don't write the laws. I just enforce them. Exactly what the brown shirts said back in the 1930s in Germany. And it didn't wash then. Nobody accepted that then as some kind of legitimate excuse to get you out of your moral obligations for humanity. And it ain't going to work today. Following orders, being an order follower is one of the worst things you can do. It's being one of the worst people you can be in society. And why is that? Because you're basically saying, I'm just doing what I'm told regardless of what is right, instead of doing what is right regardless of what I'm told. And the kicker is that the order followers who use the excuse, I'm just doing my job, actually think that abdicates them of the responsibility that they have to do good as they're doing evil and excusing it away.
Second part of this is, everything that you stopped me for today, did I harm anyone? Did I cause harm to anybody?
It's Missouri law.
Did I cause harm to anybody?
Do you have any questions for me?
This is what I'm getting to. I want you to think about this when you do your job moving forward, because we are all people. You have pulled me over for something that I did not harm anyone.
And
First
speed
of all,
is a leading contributor to
that's true,
fatality.
but I didn't do anything to hurt anyone. If I had hurt somebody, then that would be valid.
So
but
you
I
want
didn't
us to
hurt
wait
anybody.
until you hurt somebody to then do something?
I would just like you guys not to fuck with people, because I feel like at this point with policing, like you kind of do a lot of things to people that this isn't right. And then the insurance thing, like again, because I could get in an accident, and you know, you're insinuating that I'm not financially liable or have the money to pay for a situation that happens. You didn't even ask about that.
Okay.
What if I do have the financial compensation to pay for an accident? That kind of goes in lieu of insurance.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but you've got all my information on
Right,
there.
and now you're trying to get away from the situation. You had no problem taking 10 minutes to waste my time, but now that I want to say something to you, you seem like you're in a hurry to get out of here. I don't understand where the disconnect is.
Okay, you're welcome to.
Why do you feel okay doing that?
This is my job.
What is your job?
You've got to follow the law of Missouri or whatever state you're operating.
Your job is to do what?
Which is you're required to maintain financial responsibility or insurance on your vehicle when you're operating a vehicle on the highway. You're also required to abide by the speed limit.
Is it a crime to break the speed limit?
Let me just say something real quick. When an officer says, I'm just going to follow the law, I'm required to follow the law. I'm a law enforcer, therefore I'm going to enforce the law. Would he have said the same thing in 1850s America when slavery was the law and it was against the law to free slaves? And then the law enforcers who were going to obey the law went after the abolitionists who were trying to free the slaves. This is what he's saying. If the law says that I need to do this and I'm a law enforcer, then I'm just going to carry out the laws. It doesn't matter what it is. And who writes those laws? What are laws? Laws are just the opinions of politicians backed by the threat of force. The threat of force by who? Not the politicians. It's the law enforcers. So the law enforcement class is basically saying we are just going to do the bidding of the political class. Get over it.
It actually is.
It's a traffic citation.
Yes.
Is that a crime?
It is a crime.
You can go to jail for breaking that.
Yes,
that speed
I
limit.
can arrest you for that.
You can arrest me for going 14 over?
I could arrest you for speeding, yes.
Really?
It is an arrestable.
Would you still have that badge if you did that?
Yeah, I have arrested people for speeding.
I can't tell you how many Oklahoma State troopers have sped by me. We have one part in this freeway on the way to Tulsa that is 80 miles per hour. And many times, and I have this on recording and I've done a video on this, the cops will just blow by me like they got to be doing 120. And this trooper is going to pull this guy over for doing 14 miles an hour over the speed limit. If the troopers are blowing by me doing 110, 120, they're going 30 or 40 miles an hour of the speed limit. No lights, no sirens, and they're required by state law to have lights and sirens if they're going to an emergency. So I don't know about troopers in your area. Maybe you can leave your thoughts in the comments below about how troopers act in your area, but they're all the time speeding and doing dangerous things on the road.
For just speeding?
I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah?
Yes.
And you wake up every day, you look in the mirror, and you feel good about that.
Yeah, I'm out here trying to make sure people get from point A to point B safely.
Right.
There's been numerous times somebody's been killed in a traffic crash. I have to go work that crash and then go tell their significant other that their significant other is not coming home because they've been killed in a traffic crash. Whether it be for driving too fast for conditions or anything like that.
So because other people might possibly get into a traffic crash, and because other people in my past have gotten into a traffic crash, and I have to tell the significant others, hey, somebody died in a crash while they were speeding, that gives them the justification to economically terrorize somebody else for going 14 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's their rationale. That's the same rationale we hear from the Democrats, for example, who say, hey, because this guy used an AR-15 or an AK-47 or high-capacity magazines, or he utilized the gun show loophole, well, we got to close that loophole and we got to criminalize everybody who owns an AR-15, AK-47, or high-capacity magazine by banning these items. It's the same logic.
You ever had to tell somebody that? Because
we got to get, and it's all under the pretense of we got to keep people safe.
You ever had to tell somebody that because of insurance?
That's beyond after the crash. That's the monetary, how that would be worked out. Who's going to pay for medical, for the vehicle, all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I see you have a problem respecting people's time. You just like to.
I'm standing here talking to you. I could have just walked right back to my car after getting the ticket.
Yeah, you could.
I'm here to talk to you. If you
there's
want to
that
talk,
part you gave that ticket for something that.
Okay. And I also provided you the law that states why you're required to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know who wrote this law? Do you know who passed this law? Do you have any info on that?
It's with the government.
Did you know this before you went and looked it up? You didn't. You couldn't cite it to me.
You think I remember the law verbatim?
That's kind of your job.
There's a lot of laws.
That's your job.
Okay. So would you know all your military orders and all that verbatim?
No, because I left that behind because I understood what's the evil behind that.
Okay.
Just like I hope at some point you see that this whole thing that you're doing, it's tyrannical.
Okay.
You gave me the response, I have a job to do. Dude, you're a person, I'm a person. That same response was given to people in World War II. Like, do you see what's going on?
And I'm not treating anybody that way. I'm not out here. We're not putting people in camps.
Really? So if I don't pay this, I go to jail,
there's
right?
No gas chambers.
Yeah.
If you don't pay that, your license would just likely end up being suspended.
Right, and then
I have no doubt that cops, if the order was given, because he's already established himself as an order follower, I have no doubt that cops, including state troopers in all 50 states, would actually carry out and enforce, load those people up on the boxcars, take them to the gas chambers. And how do we know this? For example, remember when Hurricane Katrina happened? The cops and the National Guard went house to house, arresting people who are trying to defend themselves and their property against looters. And the law enforcers back then were just following orders. They were following curfew orders and arresting innocent people for defending themselves and their property. So when you establish yourself as an order follower, you can't convince me that you wouldn't load my family up onto the boxcar headed for the gas chambers.
you would come after me again, and then at what point does that become you putting me somewhere I don't want to be, which would be very similar to
there are
because
laws.
you didn't show me your papers. You see what just happened? I didn't show you my papers, and you are punishing me for it.
So
how is that not the same thing?
So you think that there should be no laws? Everybody should just get to do whatever they want?
I
and there
think
should be
in
no
a
repercussions?
I think in a free society, I think that so in laws that you should be enforcing would be felonious laws. This is not a felony.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with a felony. This is how you get
Laws where you actually hurt somebody. You threaten their lives. You've jeopardized their pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. You've damaged their property. Those are the people who are actually creating victims, which equals committing a crime, not traffic or code enforcement violations.
get people to the steps of getting them to be
And if
incarcerated.
this wasn't done, you know what the roadways would look like?
I think we'd have a lot safer society than you believe we would, because I think you think that you're necessary for people to live a safe and free life.
Okay.
And the reality is that's not necessary. You guys, you're sitting on the road pulling people over for traffic citations. What about all the crime?
As a matter of fact, we know that there's more crime with law enforcement officers. How do we know that, Brian? Just look at the Knapp Commission that was spearheaded by Frank Serpico back in the 1970s, and the Mullen Commission from the 1990s, where commissioners investigated the widespread criminality within the NYPD, which is the biggest police force on the planet, not just in America. And I always want to remind people of what they concluded. They said today's corruption is not the corruption of Knapp Commission days. Corruption then was largely a corruption of accommodation, of criminals and police officers giving and taking bribes, buying and selling protection. Corruption was, in its essence, consensual. Today's corruption is characterized by brutality, theft, abuse of authority, and active police criminality. Do you really think active police criminality is not taking place in the Oklahoma State Trooper's office or the Connecticut State Trooper's office or the NYPD or the LAPD or any other police department in between? If you think that, you have your head in the sand.
What if you live in this state? You know as well as I do, you guys have a big problem with crime, and you're on the roadway
Right.
harassing
Looking for
people?
the same people that we are familiar with.
looking
Yeah.
for.
Right.
You're familiar with me? I did something wrong?
No, but you were speeding, yes. 84 and 70.
Yeah. Again, thought crime, because I didn't harm anyone. In
All
fact, you had to speed faster than I was speeding to catch up to me. Do you see the hypocrisy in that?
You'd never catch a speeder if you didn't.
Right, so then you get to break the law to enforce the law?
Okay. This is a never-ending cycle. Be safe. Have a good day.
That's pretty backwards, homie.
Did you hear the admission by the state trooper? He actually admitted that he speeds.
Do you see the hypocrisy in that?
You'd never catch a speeder if you didn't.
Right, so then you get to break the law to enforce the law?
You get to break the law to enforce the law. That exactly encapsulates and identifies what's wrong with law enforcement today. This comes from the Matty Hansen YouTube channel, and I personally subscribe to him. I became his 20th subscriber. If you like how he handled this cop and you think we can encourage him to maybe become a First Amendment auditor, go over there, watch a couple of his videos, let him know Here's the Deal sent you, let him know how you think he did with the officer. If you like these commentary videos, maybe you'll like some of my others. Check out my most popular playlist. I'm sure there's videos on here you haven't seen yet. And do me a favor right now. Go to my High Impact Vlogs channel and subscribe and watch a couple videos. And go to my Disturbing Illusion channel where we expose the left versus right paradigm lie so that we can make this world a little bit better place. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you in the next video.